A bucket full of toads yields the most wonderful noise. The squeaks. I did not expect the squeaks. An adorable guttural sort of peep. Nothing dainty about it and better than any sound effect. I lifted my toad-laden plastic tub and rested my chin upon the brim, ear tilted downwards into the amphibious amphitheatre. Squeak, 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 squeak. How utterly bloody mint. On this particular evening, my vessel held about 40 warty little souls. Their voices peaked, troughed and harmonised in a sort of grumpy symphony as I trundled along, the bucket swaying gently with each welly-booted step. In my other hand, I clutched my toad-finding torch, complete with a zoom-in beam and the power of 1 billion candles, or something, swinging it in front of me and casting a rigid ray of light over tarmac virgin hedgerow. Aha, there. I'd heard your rustling in the paper-dry leaf litter, but your mud-puddle browns and moss-log greens had camouflaged you too well. Now you crouched in the middle of the tarmac river ahead, squat and hunkered, illuminated by my searchlight and followed by a comically skewed shadow. A light jog and a gentle scoop, and I found myself cupping your wonderful bum in my gloved palm. Your flight response was quite frankly terrible. Slow and clumsy, you barely bothered to attempt an escape as I wrapped my fingers tenderly under your warty belly in the face of approaching headlights. Perhaps you, Bufo, were confident enough in your own Bufo toxin-soaked skin, sure to make any would-be toad scoffer spit you right back out. Ogling you more closely, I stared into those eyes. I reckon I could use all the words I know to describe the gold within them. Spangled, mottled, gilt, doused, but none would do them any justice. Have you ever seen something that's simultaneously extraordinarily beautiful and fascinatingly disgusting? Something so creepy, gross and ick-inducing that you simply can't stop looking at it. There were more glistening bodies than it was possible to count, and every single one of them was on the move. They'd reacted immediately, becoming a frenzied, shimmering and quivering mass of scuttling things as soon as I'd pried the slab of old slate from the spreading mat of grass. Ants' nest. Uh-oh. But wait, it was safe. They were black ants. By the age of 5, I'd already learnt red ants meant ouch, and black ants meant a bit of a pinching tickle at most. I crouched in my jelly shoes, holding the slate up, only mildly worried about them scuttling over my toes, unable to tear my eyes away. There were so many ants. 1 million ants at least. Or at least that's what it felt like to 5-year-old me. The immediate panic within the disturbed colony had now transformed into a frantic organisation. Clusters of chubby white ant grubs sat in chambers and tunnels, carved out the stodgy dark soil. Worker ants had begun picking them up. A line of grub shifters had formed, moving them to the safety of the nest underground. The tiny, pale larvae looked like rice pudding, and I hated rice pudding. Ew. Gross. And yet, I couldn't stop watching. There I was, a kid, a weird kid, drawn to any interaction, observation, or encounter with living creatures. I mentally drooled over them in the same way I physically drooled over a promise of a treat from the sweetie tin. What else could you want if you had ladybirds? If fascination and entertainment lay under every rock, sat upon every flower, and whizzed through the air, what else could you possibly need? When I was little, all of my micro-adventures inevitably led to encounters with life. Glorious, messy, and never-endingly diverse life. Plants, bugs, birds, and critters, entwined and interacting with each other. From my earliest memories, they all transfixed me. If it wriggled, hopped, slithered, or fluttered, I was in love. With filthy fingernails, I'd probe and explore every nook and cranny in the garden, finding excitement and wonder in unremarkable places, like the underside of old bricks or the dusty corners of a shed. I didn't know it then, but something was brewing, building, blossoming. Like the slow growth of ivy up a tree trunk, tendrils of a lifelong fascination were taking root.